Now turning our attention over to the lower part of the body, we're going to draw a series of 5 joints. And we're going to start off with our hip area up here, go to our knee, go to our ankle, then to the ball, and then the toe area. Okay, starting off with the root joint, we have our hip area. Now, the hip area is going to be stuck a little bit inside the skin, right around here. It's going to be where the actual hip bone is and where the leg connects. Now, our target is always to go and try to get our joints in the middle of the leg as possible. So our knee is going to be positioned in the middle, like that. And then when we go down to our ankle, we're going to be doing the same thing as well. So that's going to be a target point. But the difference here is when we go from the toe, the ball and the toe, we're going to be positioning them pretty low to the ground, like this and like that, because this is going to be our impact point for where the foot hits the ground. Okay, so let's start drawing some joints. So I'm going to go into my joint tool and go into skeleton joint tool, and we're going to actually go into our side view because our joints draw better from our orthographic views. And I'm just going to draw a series of 5 joints straight down. I'm just going to click one here, and then I'm going to hold down Shift and drag down like that. And keep on holding down Shift and keep dragging down. And I'm just trying to approximate because we can slide up and down and continue to draw. And I have no idea how far out these next 2 joints are going to be, but I'm not going to worry about that because I'm going to be able to bend and articulate these joints to get in the proper position. So our first one's going to be this position. Is this one actually in the correct? And we can see first thing is we need to move our joint over like so, like that. And I'm not going to rotate it out yet. I'm going to keep it up and down. At this point, we do need to bring our leg and swing it away so it's more centered in the middle, but we're going to focus on the side view right now to get all our joints in the proper position. So I'm going to turn on my wireframe unshaded, like that, and I'm just going to rotate forward. Now, our leg can definitely rotate forward and back from the hip, so this is a valid way of actually moving our joints. Now, I want to move this down one more edge loop. I want it to be in the center here. So to do that, I am just going to grab my joint and I'm going to translate down in X. Now you can see only the X values are popping up, and that's completely valid. This joint is in the middle. Now remember, it's not the actual circle, it's just the center dot that matters on the joints. The actual radius of this joint can be changed and it does not affect anything about the joint. So now I'm going to rotate our knee back, like so. Okay, and we got a natural crook in our knee, where our hip to our knee to our ankle. And we can actually slide our joint down a little bit to be in the middle. There we go. And now I'm going to rotate my actual foot, or my ankle up, like this. Now what I really want to do is I want to find which edge loop that we should be looking at here. So I'm going to look at the perspective view and take a closer look at this area. Now, as you can see, we have these 2 edge loops right here that we can work off of. And right now, this is a boot, so the boot can kind of change how your foot's going on, but this one looks good right here. This one going across. So that's what I'm going to aim at. Okay. And it's actually, you can see this little bulge right here on the foot, and that's actually the ball of the foot. So that's right where your actual toes and the actual trunk of your foot are meeting. Okay, so now I'm going to translate this down. There we go. And you notice it's a little too far underneath the geometry, but that's fine. I can rotate my ankle back up a little bit. I'll make this full screen like that, and that's pretty good. Now it is pretty low on it, and that's going to make binding a little more difficult for this foot, but it's going to work really good for when we put our foot system to actually do our locomotion with our leg. So now I'm just rotating up my ball so that this joint is straight, and I'm just going to translate this back. Now I can go in just in the y-axis in this point, but if I grab the x-axis here and middle mouse drag, it will only translate on that axis. So there you go. And this is where our toe should be impacting. So it's actually okay to have this outside the skin, because we do want to have it so it's colliding with our character, with the ground. So there we go. We have our joints. Okay, good. Now we want to make sure our systems are clean, and they do. We have good values on it. Now we do have rotates on it, but our translates are only in Translate X. I just kind of went through all the joints there. Let's bring up with the outliner. So now we can actually position it and rotate it away. So I'm going to go into our front view, and I'm just going to rotate it out like that. Okay. So you might notice that the ankle's a little farther out than the knee. Rotating this in would not be valid, because you're actually changing you're altering how your knee is flowing down into your ankle. We want to keep this a straight line. Also, you can't rotate your knees in like that. It would break. So this is definitely for our IK systems. It'll make a much cleaner rotation when we're actually putting our IKs. It won't make the flip or go crazy. Okay, so we look good there. So I should be able to freeze transforms on this. Like that. Okay, I should be able, I'm going to name them. Well, before I name them, I'm going to check my orientation. So I'm going into my object mode and clicking on my question mark, and we see they're all Z's forward, which is good. It looks a little strange down here, but it is still facing this direction, as they were all kind of coming out like so. So that's good. Okay, so now we're going to name them. So this is going to be our left leg 01. This is a binding joint, and we're going to go through each one of these. Left leg 02 bind. Left leg 03 bind. And then finally, we have our last joint 5, and this is a waist joint. Okay. Good. So that's our leg joints. That's it.